Real people, real celebrities, real talk.
Join the Breakfast Club.
Blast off in your
Weekday morning, 6 to 10.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club.
The laugh is back, baby.
Yeah.
Special guest in the
That's
building.
my fake one.
The OGYN.
The
What's
YN.
Elliot Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Don't
Breakfast
talk to
Club.
him, Elliot, because he don't like light-skinned people. I'm telling you that right now.
Charlamagne, you know.
Elliot got dark-skinned tendencies, though.
Like what?
Elliot get right at you like a dark-skinned dude.
Does he?
Absolutely.
Except when I'm in my feelings. You catch me do that sometimes. too.
Elliot
It's
will,
a
go right
balance.
at, Elliot will go at you and then be like, can you do this Crown series? That's what
The
I'm
big
talking
ass.
about.
They call it the big ass. So you got to ask people for big sometimes.
Yeah, I saw you said you want to get Jay Electronica to do it, right?
Yes. I think that maybe you could help me, Angela.
I saw that on Twitter.
You know what it is with Crown? I mean, I want to talk about hardcover, but let's talk about Crown for a second. Because that's a new thing I'm doing. But Crown is going great. But now it's almost like the people tell me what they want. So it's like, obviously, people want to know what's going on with Jay Electronica. And I think the challenge would be, how do you sit with him? And it's just not all about where's the album, where's the music. Like, how do you just kind of just, capture why we still care about this guy and how, like, our connection to him revolves around this thing of whether he'll ever give us music, but at the same time, he's a very intriguing person. Right. So how do you create that moment? So
because people how do you first get the interview with Jay Electronica?
Exactly. Well, remember that was drama. I've been to his when he had the house in, what was it, in Bed-Stuy?
It was in Crown Heights.
And he wouldn't let me in the building. I had when he didn't show up. I got to do all that drama. Remember to get the respect story.
Yeah.
I would go to the place. He'd say we do it. I'd be hitting the lobby thing. He wouldn't let me up in the place. I don't know if he was even in there.
Damn it,
or if he
man.
left town. Like, look, Angela's laughing. She knows these stories. So yeah, you had to hunt him down. And then I interviewed him for respect. And it was a great interview. It was like I had a transcript of like 20,000 words, and it was I had to ask Danielle, my wife, to help me edit the transcript down because I couldn't. Electronica talks in such.
Right.
I couldn't even deal with it. I had to step away myself.
Deal with it.
So she cut the transcript down for me, and then I figured out how to write the piece and how to coordinate the piece. So it's a great piece.
What's been the most successful
Jay
Crown out of your Crown series so far?
I think it's still Drake, but the Lil Wayne one at South by was really good in Austin, and people like that a lot. And I had never met Wayne, and I thought I pulled that off pretty good, So the Roots is next in New York, back to New York, but it's been cool to be able to do it outside the market. When I did Future in Atlanta, he had his mama and his daddy, his kids in the front row. Like a lot of times, our artists don't get their chance to really be celebrated in that way. You know what I mean? Future was very influential in the Atlanta hip hop music scene. So it's not even so much about like Rich Homie Quan sounds like him, or he was the hot guy. So his music obviously and his patterns and his flows and his melodies influenced the young cats coming up. A lot of them under Gucci, influenced by Future. So I feel like here's a place where our artists, our hip hop artists, don't get celebrated, and Crown allows that to happen, and people are taking it seriously. To the point that they're inviting their family, their kids, their parents. Like I met Mama Future, Papa Future, and the kids was in the front.
So when you do the interviews with them, it is a celebration because a lot of people be like, "Oh, why you asking the softball question?"
No, but you always say I asked softball now, and I fell off.
A lot of people say. Go ahead and say what you want to say, Charlamagne. Say what you want to say.
No, I feel like
one day he went at you on air too.
No, I did
not.
not.
He does. He did. I hit him right back too
did.
because I'm light skinned. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on? No,
but that was actually, and I hate to throw it on our production team.
Hardcover, Kickstarter. We'll get there, right?
No, that was our
Kickstarter, hardcover. I got to get there.
Because I didn't hear the interview in full, and it was like, what was the question? What was the thing we pulled from the interview?
Him talking about the Yeezus tour.
Yeah,
you didn't like the clip Angela chose, so then you start saying my interview was whack.
Yeah, really? Because I was thinking that's the best.
But you can't say somebody's interview is whack from one clip.
But I didn't hear it. That's my fault. I didn't say the interview was whack. I was just like, come on, Ellie.
But you kind of jabbed me a little extra.
Definitely jabbed you a little.
I think Charlamagne wish he would have thought of the Crown
I think
series.
sometimes people play me against Charlamagne. I think Charlamagne's impacted culture. He's not a journalist, as he's always said. He's a radio personality. He asks the questions that people want to know. He's active on social media. He knows what people want to know. He knows the critical thing that needs to be addressed, and he makes sure that his role in the show is to get that out there.
Right.
He's not going to celebrate you.
I feel like I still get to it, but I use a more finesse type of way now that I'm an OG than I did when I was younger. When I was younger, I was more like you, and I just went for it. Because you're a young journalist, you want that pull quote. I know what the streets want to hear. I know what the barbershops want to hear. You want that reaction, you just go for it.
I used to read editorials.
Yeah. So
straight slander, ether.
No, but that was different slander. That's slander based off the business of like, I've been negotiating with all these for a month, and this is why the book looks like this. That's different than like me doing the interviews per se. But when I was a journalist in the field in the 90s and I'm interviewing MOP, I'd say something that may offend Billy Danz, and he'd be like, you don't
want to do that.
You don't want to do that. So you would just go for it because you know what people want to know.
Gotcha.
You go for the things. But now as I gotten older, I've learned the more of the art of turning it. I mean, you guys do this also. Your interviews are great because it's conversations.
Right.
It's a loose, fun conversation with a group of people. Mine is a one-on-one conversation, and there's a certain level of intimacy. So I try to be respectful to the person because we have an audience who's paid money to see us sit and have a conversation. It's usually around a project that they've just put out, which is the body of work, which I think nowadays to have a full body of work means something, that's being barcoded and sent out to people because it's hard to get those moves to happen nowadays. And I get I think I get to all the negative stuff or all the hot topics, but I do it in a different way than maybe Charlamagne does at this point. So some people think I lost my edge or they missed just me to be more out of control. But then when I'm out of control, like we've had falling out, so when I get back and when I show that, then everybody's like, damn, Elliot, like, wow, like what the fuck's wrong with you?
Altercation ever.
What was that about?
It's not an altercation. That's just like
one
we did
altercation.
something.
I had to listen.
Angela kicked me. Now.
I had to choke Elliot out.
What
But do you consider any of these artists your friends?
No, what was the altercation about?
It's Jay Electronica.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you think Jay's ever coming out?
No, never.
Never.
Don't say that.
I don't think he'll ever put music out in his own of his own mind of him
His
putting it out.
album's done.
No, I know, but if he allows others to put it out, but I think he'll never push the button. He'll never say.
Yeah, you kind of. That's what happened with Exhibit C. It wasn't him putting it out. It was just Blaze saying, "Let me put this record out," and that's that. And then it just went on its own.
If he decides one day, Hov, do whatever you want, Hov will push the button or whatever, or whatever. Young Guru, whoever want to put it together, like I think it's that kind of thing. We may get it further down the line. I think we'll hear it one day, but is it going to be the moment of this big presentation and roll out and out? I don't know.
Do you think the way
I doubt it
hurts or helps him? Because I think it hurts a little bit only because
absolutely.
Every time he's on a record now, he gets outshined. Whether it's Control, the freestyle with Jay.
But I think it's rare though. I think he's still that artist that's maintained this level of mystique that people he hasn't failed, right? So he still hasn't put it out. So people still care, which is pretty unprecedented. I think like Saigon went through that kind of with his album with Just Blaze, where people started to lose interest because it took so long. But Electronica hasn't really lost that interest yet. People
you should
still
see how many artists hit me up.
So
many artists hit me up like, yo, I need to get hooked up with Jay Electronica. Like people you would not believe.
That Exhibit C represent, and I championed Exhibit C pretty heavy, and I thought what it was a record just like at the time in the 90s, like OC Time's Up or Nas Made You Look. Like these kind of records that just come out and they just feel special and they feel like it's a commercial single, but it still represents the essence of our culture, like the 90s shit that we loved, and our underground shit became mainstream. So it still had that aesthetic, and it was celebrated that way. So I think that because he made that type of record, he still is revered and still respected. And the mysteriousness, I think, does work for him. I mean, but that's really who he is.
And he'll go to London and be dating Kate Rothschild.
Yeah, and then now we want to know
random.
the lifestyle. Does he have to do it? Does he have to create these things? Because now he has a great life now.
But it's still in his heart. It's still in his heart, so he's going to continue, I think.
Now, Elliot, do you consider any of these artists your friends? Because some people will
my
tell
friend
you
is
this
my
is
wife,
just,
hardcover,
just
Kickstarter.
business.
Now.
But is there anybody that you can consider that you would say is your friend?
Yes, but I think that business, obviously, part of why we're friends is because we're in business or do business together.
Who are you friends with? Who are you friends with?
Danielle Smith, my wife. No, I consider Jay a friend, but does that mean
Jay-Z?
that like I'm not inner circle Jay-Z friend, but I consider him a friend because I feel like we've had personal interaction. I do care about his well-being outside the music.
You.
Yeah, right.
No,
So how did you handle the controversy last week? The elevator incident. How did you handle that?
I didn't find it funny. I didn't see the humor in it, and I guess partly because I care about the individual. Right. But even if it was somebody that I didn't know, let's say it was Future and Sierra's sister kicked Future, I just don't see the humor in it. Like I was kind of just depressed by it. And I think it's like to get to why I'm here with Hardcover is a magazine I'm trying to create with my wife, and we're launching it through Kickstarter. I would feel like journalism in that style is kind of missing because we're in the celebrity culture and people are selling content now, which breaks the rules. But that's the way it is right nowadays.
What do you mean?
Breaks
the rules?
Selling the content. Like the person took the surveillance video, sold it, made 6 figures or whatever the person made.
Gotcha.
That's their come up. You know what I mean? When you're a journalist, you're supposed to try to get information, get the story, but do it through the legal ways. Like when my wife was at Vibe magazine, she unearthed the marriage certificate between R. Kelly and Aaliyah, but she didn't pay the courthouse money for it. So I feel like there's a certain standard that's missing in journalism. Nowadays, a magazine, it's rare that a magazine has moments where it really impacts culture. I think the freshman cover does that. There's just rare moments. Sometimes. And I think power issues and those type of things. But I was kind of taking it more back to when I did Ego Trip, that it's going to come out when there's enough money to put it out, and we want to make impact. When I took over Respect,
it could be once every 3 months. It could be once every 6 months.
The demand. Hopefully, we create a movement that impacts culture. The hardcover impacts culture to the point that advertisers want to get involved, and then you can print it more. You get more money behind it, more frequency. But I miss the feeling of like truly impacting. When I took over Respect in like 2010, I put Waka Flocka on the cover. First issue, and nobody had really documented his rise. And and I feel like that album was a borderline classic. I think you think it's a classic, right?
That was a controversial.
It's a great album.
Flockavelli's hard.
Yeah, so nobody had given him a magazine cover. So I gave him a cover, and like people were excited that Elliot Wilson was back in print. It's supposed XXL. So in the early days of like Instagram, they would put the cover up. I found the issue. I'm trying to find the issue. You rarely see that, and I want that to happen with hardcover, where you're gonna feel special that you have this, that you possess this. You're gonna want to have it in your home, on your nightstand with your coffee table books, and it's gonna mean something. And you possessing that says something about you.
It sounds hard to steal. Like I steal all my magazines. I steal XXL.
That counts as a sale. I always said boosting counts as a sale because it's not returned back to the distributor. So I've always encouraged look the other way. Stealing. That works.
I'll go to the counter.
That counts as a sale.
I'll start looking through it and I'll just walk out with it. And they don't never trip.
You can't do that with hardcover.
So what's the difference between hardcover and Respect?
I'm no longer the editor at Respect. I stepped down. H1 Thomas is new editor.
Didn't know that.
He's a great dude. He's a great dude. It's going to be in great hands. You should have him up here when he drops his first issue.
My guy.
Very good guy.
It has a hardcover.
It has a hard. Working with my wife for the first time.
I'm surprised.
We've never worked together to create a magazine. We've always competed against each other. We compete against each other.
Oh man, you guys are going to get into it.
more working together than competing. More working together. Now, at Vibe and The Source, we competed, and I was editor-in-chief of XXL. 1 year into our marriage, she took the job to be editor-in-chief of Vibe. So we were really competing against each other.
Were y'all together when she was at The Source and you was at Vibe? Or when she was at Vibe and you was at The Source?
Yes, we were married.
Oh, okay. I thought
she was beating me to like 50 Cent covers and T.I. and sometimes I would win.
Hard at home when I'm supposed to get in bed with you.
I thought you were just doing something grimy, like I'm gonna go bang the EIC at a freaking Vibe.
No, she was out the game. And then our 1 year anniversary, she got the offer to go back to Vibe.
Okay.
So I think it encouraged her to get back in the game. And then she went back there. And I was like, if you were single, you take the job. So we got to try to find a way to make it work. And we did.
Come home and be like, ha.
But now, yeah. We do like magazines. You would get like these little mini proofs. So what she would do, we both would get out our proofs and the issue was done. Then we drop it on the desk and be like, take that. Like, look at that. What you got? What you got this month? What you got? Look at it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we would do. But I think I think it's a great team because my whole pedigree is a little bit more like traditional hip hop head. I know hip hop historian, rap top to bottom from the culture beginning in the 70s up present day. And she obviously knows a lot about the culture, but she's also has a political website called The Smithy, and her perspective is a little bit more broad. So I think the content's going to be a little bit more vibe-ish, classic vibe-ish than classic XXL-ish. And a combination of both. Have the edge of what I bring and have kind of more of a worldview of what Danielle has and possesses. So I think that's a good combination.
Money? If they want to donate money, how can they find you?
They're going to go to Kickstarter.com and type in HRDCVR, and they'll break it down. Exactly what you get. We're going to say this could have cost this amount of money to print this many books. If you pledge this a level, you get this, you get that, you get that. So
where you at now money-wise?
Well, we're going to relaunch it. We actually set a really too high of a goal. We raised like about $10,000 in 10 days. So it's going to be a lower goal level when we relaunch it. A lot of times we're rookies to the Kickstarter thing. So what happens is if you don't get the amount that you pledge, you don't get the money at all until you reach that goal. But what you can do is if you realize you made a mistake in the way you launched it, you can relaunch it. And it's not rare that happens. Sometimes
you should tell your friend Jay-Z, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. People's like, why are you asking for money? You're successful. Why don't you just get Jigga to give you money? Like, you don't want it like that. And plus in hip-hop, you know how it is. You got to get hot. Like cats don't do you favors on a strict for whatever. Like when you started Breakfast Club, you made it hot. Now you could get everybody you want, but you got to make shit hot.
Not yet.
Not everybody.
Because of who?
Me. But.
Oh yeah, you can't get Drake.
Yeah, let me ask your opinion. Let me ask your opinion on that, Elliot.
Him and Drake?
Yeah.
Why is it always about him and Drake?
Why is it always exactly? Why?
I just want to know, Elliot.
Because she considers Drake a friend of mine. Like I guess
that is a friend of yours.
Yes.
You think that Drake is warranted in his feelings about Charlamagne? Because I feel like Charlamagne goes a little hard on him.
Yes, he is.
Yes, of course he is. I mean, Charlamagne plays into the strength of, you could go two ways with it. You could try to resolve your differences with somebody, or you could play up the fact that I'm the critic of this person, or that I'm going to stand by my position. And, you know, people know that Charlamagne and Drake don't with each other. So that gives you a certain amount of attention the other way. It also raises his profile. What really raised his profile was having Kanye West come to your show and challenge Kanye West to say the things that people haven't said to him. So then that raises your profile. So
if you were Drake,
Charlamagne's adversarial approach is helping him rise in, you know, maybe ways that if he did resolve it with Drake, it wouldn't. At this point,
I don't care either way. I'm a cultural critic. Like, I'm gonna critique the culture regardless, whether you come to the show.
No, but you're wrong in the sense that Drake is the best rapper right now.
I don't feel that. Why do we have to have this argument again?
He's the best artist right now.
I like Kendrick,
but he's not the best right now. Kendrick's not even active right now.
That's not true. Why? Just because he's in between albums don't mean he's not active.
That's what it does. That's what it means.
No, Wyatt, we gotta stop that. Think about it now. You're an OG.
You got to do a donkey of the day every mother day. If you stop doing it, you're active. You're judged by that. So at the end of the day, if he's in the lab cooking up the old school way and he's not in the conversation, and Drake is still dropping heat that's unreleased records or like not even off albums that are moving the club, Drake has
been very consistent.
That's cool, but what's wrong with taking time between albums to create a masterpiece?
There's nothing wrong with
that.
But Drake is on fire, and that's one thing that you can't.
I'm not saying he's not. Right. He's just not my favorite of this era. I like K.
But that's based on, to me, personal reasons, and because of your personal reasons, you're denying how good of an artist he is.
I just think K. Dot is that dude, man.
You're racist.
I think
why can't you like both? You're buying into the same Jay-Z nine. You should be able to like both.
I do say.
Kendrick's a monster. And I've heard great things about Kendrick. I've heard great things about Kendrick's next album.
Yes.
So I'm excited. That's probably one of the most important, anticipated, whatever all these accolades you want to give, album to come out in our culture.
Absolutely.
There's a lot on the line with this next Kendrick album, and I think he's gonna go in a different way. And I've heard great things about it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. That's a great moment for our culture. But if you look at the landscape and you're saying what's going right now in the culture, Drake is doing all the steps to prove right now he's the best in the culture.
But he's not my personal favorite.
I
like Kendrick. I like J. Cole. I like Wale. I like Gunplay, damn it.
I like Gunplay too.
You know what I mean?
Who doesn't like Gunplay?
Those guys move me more. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nobody doesn't like Gunplay. Everybody loves Gunplay.
Dope.
Our friends at TDE cool with you again? Or are they still
we're good. We're good.
They didn't like you.
Everybody always getting mad at Elliot. Elliot can't do nothing.
Why they didn't like you?
No, we did Schoolboy Q. Hey, why do you love my beefs and my friends?
I think Elliot's beefs are so funny.
Why
didn't my beefs funny?
Why didn't like YN?
I didn't know what my beef was. You probably know more about what my beef was than I do.
It has to do with the cover, with the Kendrick.
Oh, yeah. I called him Black Hippie, but everybody does that. Or didn't call him Black Hippie or something like that. No, but I did the Schoolboy Q crown. That came out real dope.
Yeah.
I'm cool. No, I hit up.
Studio is one of our favorite songs right now.
The homie Top Dog, he hits me. We have a Twitter relationship. We go back and forth. Twitter relationship. We go at each other.
What's your favorite song right now?
No, they do. That's how I connected with Rick Ross. How I got cool with Rick Ross was through Twitter. That's how we connected to each other, like and communicate.
What about 50?
That's how me and Top are. I don't think he does. No, you have to ask him that.
He ain't never gonna like. Who else don't like you, Elliot? Let's go through the list. Elliot got more beef than any rapper I know. You got more beef than any rapper I know.
See, but I thought I'm soft now. If I'm soft and Charlamagne's the hard guy who everybody's beefing with, then how do I still have so much beef?
That don't make us hard just because people got beef with us. I'm not.
I don't mean hard like that.
I love all my tough guy ways alone.
I'm not a tough guy either. I never pretend to be anything I want, but anything that I wasn't in this business. But no, I think when you do work and you're bold and you stand by your principles, that you're gonna end up having ups and downs with artists. That's what happens, and you ride that wave. Envy's going through it, like you be like this artist.
What's Envy going through?
Just the ups and downs with artists. Certain artists want.
I'm good with everybody right now.
Yeah.
I think. I can't. Buster, I don't think Buster.
Was there ever a time, Elliot, that you thought something physical might really happen to you over something?
All the time, especially back in the '90s when rap writers was really getting stomped out.
Coming up to the office.
I mean, I thank God that nothing happened to me. I've never really had nothing.
Because during that time, boy.
Yeah, during that time, you would just leave the club. Like this here.
Yep. Let me get out.
I'm not gonna run, but I'm gonna walk with purpose.
I like the confrontation.
I like that. Walk with purpose. I like that.
I like the confrontation.
You know what I mean? I'm not walking into the thing. You don't like the. with 8 guys. Like it's not the guy. It's not you're not gonna shoot the fair one. It's like it's gonna be the entourage, right?
Yeah, I got
so unless
one
you're
too,
gonna
though.
go, but exactly. So then you want a confrontation, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't want to move that way.
I'm moving.
I remember
Elliot, no.
This
I'm
is how
moving
crazy
just like
it
the
got.
traffic move.
This is how. Yeah, exactly. I don't move with 8 people.
I don't need 8. Give me a good 2.
And this is how crazy it was. Like journalists would be like have guns up in their office. Like have a gun under the desk. Like I'm not doing that.
A burner under the desk.
I burner under the desk. Let me get this review up. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like I'm not doing that.
But you have that for people though. That's not even just for artists. That's just regular everyday life.
No, that was for
for
people.
Word.
And it was like the management and the gangster mentality, the business of hip hop. I always tell people this. People say you're aggressive, you get at people. The whole business was ran with aggression. It's not run that way anymore. It was all Leo Cohen, Irv Gotti, Dame Dash. You bark on, bully everybody. I could phone bully you. I'm not a street dude, but I could phone bully you. Talk, hang up on mother. You owe me this favor for a favor. Chris Lighty, like we would just all go at it. Like we were bullying each other
Yeah,
to
Elliot's
get
an email
business
bully.
done. That's how business was done.
Right.
You can't do business like that anymore in hip hop.
Nah, you can't.
You can't
'cause
bully
Irv-
You
Herb
can't.
was very aggressive back then. Puff was very
All of
aggressive
them.
back
We
then.
all were. That's how you did business. We all did business that
Who
way.
else was very aggressive back then? Nori and them was aggressive
Yeah.
back then.
A lot of
No,
aggression.
but now these guys are all like sweet guys.
like,
Style
Nori's a-
speed,
Nori's a
like
nice guy.
yeah, they're all
Nori was
sweet guys.
aggressive.
But it was new
No,
too
we all-
though. Hip hop, it was new.
Exactly. Now we all look at each other like
Biggie was
warriors,
aggressive.
like, oh,
Dude,
yeah,
was
that's
aggressive,
you,
yeah.
dog. Like, and that's why I think it's also great we have great relationships with these artists now because we've been through the wars together of the culture, just figuring it out. So yeah, it was more dangerous back then as a journalist because your peer was critiquing you. So like you just fresh off the streets, and some kid around your age, close to where you grew up, is telling you your shit is whack. I'm gonna see that. Like that's what it was. So you just had to move away to not really get yourself
Fat
in a
Joe was
situation.
real aggressive.
Oh, beyond.
Joe was
Fat
oh
Joe
my
walking
goodness.
to a party is the scariest sight ever. Like,
What? Yeah.
Scariest sight
Hey,
ever.
macho, man.
Why?
Scariest sight ever. Because he was huge.
Yeah.
And he'd put hands on you.
Oh yeah, like Mano style. He would move.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he was Mano before Mano.
Yeah.
See, now it's good. The thing that's good now
He
is
put the hand of God on motherfucker.
the thing that's good about the game now, it can happen one or two ways. Y'all can either have a conversation, and agree to disagree, or y'all can just not F with each other.
Yeah.
I've never been.
Conversations could still happen. It's like wrestling. There's some fake, but motherfuckers can still get hurt. That's how it is. So
I've been
can
attacked
happen.
twice, and none of them have been by artists. One was the little guy tried to jump me. Can I get a drop? Another was across the street at the pharmacy. I beat the shit out that dude. Though. And then, like artist wise,
Who's jumping you at a pharmacy?
some dude tried to.
It was
jump
weird and
me
random,
from
but
me.
we don't know if an artist sent that. We don't know who sent that.
That
Okay.
definitely had to be an artist.
Okay.
An artist could have sent that.
No, like, why would a random guy just be hanging around a radio station
Exactly.
waiting
So
to
I
be
mean,
my?
an artist ain't gonna put hands on you because he don't want to get sued. But if I'm
boys
an
will,
artist and I
yeah.
got power, I ain't got to do it
I
myself.
respect it more when I respect it when Buster sees me in LA and wants to holler at me. I respect Drake looking for me in the club and he was like, "Oh, that's what's up." I respect it when it's the artist more so than the entourage.
But you can't escape the entourage. The entourage is with the artist. You can't separate the two.
Can't escape
That's
mine
why you
either.
have an entourage too. That's why if you're gonna move that way,
Yep.
right? At the end of the day,
Absolutely.
And sometimes it be your entourage that be setting it off, even though that's not what you want.
That's right. Them the ones
Yeah,
that
once you
gonna stab.
step out, you step out. That's
Yeah.
what it is. A lot of tough industry talk, man.
Why
You
Shit.
know what I'm saying?
So go to Kickstarter,
Tell these people
hardcover,
like that,
man.
when are you gonna put it up though? People can't even go right now. When is it gonna go up?
It's up right now, but we're about to.
All this 90s aggressive talk that you start using
Damn.
talk all of a sudden.
Put it up, man. What's good? You out here
can I
pushing
go?
this hardcover? What the fuck you doing, son?
Gosh.
You guys are gonna edit this whole interview because y'all will not stop cursing at each other.
okay.
I'm sorry, that revolt style. You got to curse. Nah, it's gonna go to Kickstarter, go to hardcover, HRD CVR. It's up and running. Envy, stop lying, man.
All right,
There's
I'm
different
just
pledge
making sure.
levels. It's exciting.
You said
We're gonna reach our
relaunch
goal.
That's because Envy's doing his own magazine called Soft Cover.
There you go.
Light Skin Cats from Queens magazine. That's what
Soft
it's gonna be.
cover.
Shut up.
Soft cover, super
But tell them
format.
again clearly so they know.
Kickstarter.com, go to hardcover, HRD CVR. I'm launching a new brand. It's a magazine brand. It's going to change the culture. You can be part of creating it. It's going to be an exciting thing, man. I like making things. I like building things, man. Rap Radar, The Truth, Crown, and now it's hardcover.
I'm gonna put some money in it, not because I want to read it, but because you're light skinned.
I'll take it either way.
I hear
put
some
money-
change over there. What are you doing?
I'm gonna put money into it because I respect what you've done for the culture all
Thank
these
you,
years,
brother.
man.
Thank you, God.
Absolutely.
Straight up.
But we appreciate
Ans,
you
what about
joining
you,
us
Ans?
today.
Oh, come
Ans
on,
just bought a
Elliot.
crib, though.
I don't have to. I was just thinking that.
It's like
just
I'm
buy
light.
a house. But I
It's
got
like
you.
I'm light right now. You my boo, but I'm light right now.
I'll get someone to, put it in my name.
But we appreciate
Kaiser.
you joining us, man.
Okay, thank
We
you guys.
definitely do, man.
Yeah.
Elliot Wilson is the Breakfast Club. Again, you got to come more often, too, man. We say
I
that
love
every
it,
year,
man.
and you come once a year. More often.
Every
Elliot
time.
comes when he got something to promote. He needs some
Exactly.
money. Come on up.
Hardcover. All right.
It's the Breakfast Club. It's Elliot Wilson.
Yeah.